Most of us know in America and the world by now that last month, September the 8th, Queen Elizabeth II died, 2022. Now, I will say this. Not trying to start on a bad note, but I'm just being honest. But when good people pass, they are missed by those who truly love them. And it's no different when bad people pass this life. They're missed by those that love them as well. So those human emotions don't change, regardless of the type of individual it is. There are people that are from a criminal nature that have followers that adore them. And we know people who are upright have the same. But it's funny how we celebrate evil and people who perpetrate evil upon another class or group of people because they have might, power, influence, money. So my question to you before I leave is, was Queen Elizabeth a good person to have so much world attention? What good did she do for the world? Is what I'm really asking. How did she benefit the world? Now, I've heard people say that, she inherited her position through her family lineage. I agree with this. But there is something still there, regardless of how you come. You still have a mind of your own. You can make decisions for yourself if you're a sovereign person. You should be able to do that. You should know the difference between right and wrong, no matter who you are. There are some things that are just part of who we are as the human creation. We know right from wrong when we've been on this planet long enough, as it relates to dealing with societies that we live in, space that we occupy. Now, you can call it civilization if you want to, but anyway, you should know right from wrong, and you should know that it's wrong to oppress a people. Kind of like black folks have been oppressed in North America more specifically, as long as we have. You should know the difference. And not only in America, but across the planet. Black folks, and I'll use that term black, even though it doesn't really identify a nationality or culture. That's just a convenient term that people like to use. So, again, my question to you is, was Queen Elizabeth a humanitarian? Was she a good person for the world, by and large? We all know that she inherited her position throughout her family's lineage again, and she was a ruler. From the beginning of their empire, and when I say, I'm talking about Great Britain, England, they killed a lot of folks throughout history. They've been responsible for displacing people, taking over cultures, and inserting themselves, and claiming power. Many countries they've taken over through colonization, and millions of Africans especially were killed by their hand. I'm talking about Britain, I'm talking about England, to arrive at the place of power that they had achieved for so long. They didn't get it because it was just handed to them. They took the power. So let me throw this at you real quick. Now, I'm not going to go into a big expose because I really don't have the time and or the breath for it. I don't have the patience for it. If you truly want to know, you'll delve a little bit deeper into this, because I have so many other things that I do and that I'm involved in, and this just sort of wears on me, this history here. But here's just something to think about. These are some of the countries and some of the smaller areas and or islands that were colonized. Some still exist and some don't, as it relates to their control. Britain, it is, or England. Africa: Somalia, Sudan, Rwanda, Burundi, Zanzibar, Nigeria, Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, Egypt, Kenya, Southern Cameroon, and that list does go on. Bermuda, Canada, Australia, Antigua, St. Vincent, Jamaica, Grenada, Barbados, and New Zealand, and that list goes on. What do you mean the list goes on? Those are not the only places that have ever been overcome by Britain, Great Britain, and England, and impoverished in many instances those countries and or cultures. But why? Why? Does a good person do that? Does an honorable, ethical human being take over someone else's country, their island, their state, and claim it for their own, shedding the blood of millions of people for power? There's an expression I like to use, and you've heard this before: power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. Was Queen Elizabeth corrupt? No matter who loved her. You've heard the expression, birds of a feather flock together. You've heard of the expression, a den of thieves. Just to name a couple. You're going to love who thinks like you, who behaves as you do, but it doesn't make what they do right. So, if you do a little research, if you don't already know, come back with the conclusion and ask yourself the question honestly. Should the Queen Elizabeth II, that passed away last month on the 8th of September, should she be celebrated as a decent human being during the time that she was here? Or should you frown on her? That was all I'm asking. Let me know what you think. This is Brother Teacher.